Hello and welcome back to EduBridge IAS. I'm Vishal Singh and this is the fourth day in our History MCQ series where we discuss 10 previous years questions every day. All of these questions and concepts are going to be discussed in detail in our GS History Foundation course beginning on the 10th of September. You can join the course by following the link given in the description below. Question number 1. Quit India movement was launched in response to A. Cabinet Mission Plan, B. Cripps Proposal, C. Simon Commission Report or D. Wavell Plan. The correct answer is B. Cripps Proposal. क्या हुआ था? सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर चल रहा था and the British wanted the support of the Indian nationalist leadership for their war effort. For this, they sent a single member mission under Sir Stafford Cripps with a set of proposals for constitutional reforms. However, none of these reforms were acceptable to the Congress leadership, which had been demanding complete transfer of power or Poon Swaraj for a very long time. The proposal was rejected and the negotiations broke down. In retaliation, the Congress launched the Quit India movement. Okay, so the correct answer is B. Cripps Proposal. Now you could have answered this question even if you were not aware of these particulars. आपको केवल क्रोनोलॉजी का ज्ञान होना चाहिए था. क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट कब लॉन्च हुआ? अगस्त 1942. क्रिप्स मिशन इंडिया में कब आया? ऑल्सो इन 1942. सो दैट इज द लॉजिकल चॉइस. When was the Simon Commission sent? In late 1927, early 1928. Wavell Plan was announced in June 1945 and the Cabinet Mission Plan was announced in May 1946. Alright, so the only answer could be B, the Cripps Proposal. Question number 2. Which one of the following observations is not true about the Quit India movement of 1942? A. It was a non-violent movement. B. It was led by Mahatma Gandhi. C. It was a spontaneous movement. Or D. It did not attract the labor class in general. Now the Quit India movement was launched on 8th August 1942 when Mahatma Gandhi gave his famous do or die speech from Bombay. However, the very next day, early in the morning of 9th August 1942, all the top Congress leadership, including Mahatma Gandhi, were arrested by the government. This led to the breaking out of spontaneous protests all across the country in all the major cities. And quickly after this, the movement spread into the villages as well. Now, what was the attitude of the communists regarding the Quit India movement? The Communist Party of India was receiving its directives straight from Moscow. Britain was a wartime ally of the Soviet Union. Therefore, the Soviets did not want to cause any disruption in the British war effort. Hence, they had directed the Indian communists not to participate in the movement. The Communist Party of India gave a call to the Indian labourers not to support the Congress-led Quit India movement. However, there were a number of sporadic protests by the labour class throughout the subcontinent in major industrial towns. Alright. Now, when Mahatma Gandhi had launched the movement, he had given a call for non-violence. But because the movement had been rendered leaderless, it quickly lost direction. And the situation became extremely poor when 7 school children were shot dead outside the Patna Secretariat for the crime of unfurling the tricolour flag. Now, this was a watershed moment within the Quit India movement. The movement became extremely violent and spread into the villages of Bihar up to Maharashtra. And for months, the situation remained out of control. Extreme brutality was committed by both sides, the British as well as the Indian sides. And it is estimated that more than 1 lakh people died as a result of the direct violence between the British and the Indian sides. So statement 1 is incorrect, that it was a non-violent movement. Next question. Mahatma Gandhi said that some of his deepest convictions were reflected in a book titled Unto This Last, and the book transformed his life. What was the message from the book that transformed Mahatma Gandhi? A. Uplifting the oppressed and poor is the moral responsibility of an educated man. B. The good of an individual is contained in the good of all. C. The life of celibacy and spiritual pursuit are essential for a noble life. Or D. All the statements A, B, and C are correct in this context. Now, unto the last, किसकी किताब थी? It was written by John Ruskin. Mahatma Gandhi was gifted this book in 1904 on a train journey from Durban to Johannesburg. उस समय 24 घंटे लगते थे इस ट्रेन जर्नी के लिए. By the time that he deboarded, some of his deepest convictions were formed, and he has readily admitted this in one of his later writings. यहाँ से उनको कौन सा मेजर आइडिया मिला? ही गॉट द आइडियाज ऑफ सर्वोदय एंड अंत्योदय फ्रॉम दिस वर्क. सर्वोदय का मतलब होता है सबका साथ सबका विकास, एंड अंत्योदय का मतलब होता है दैट नो वन शुड बी लेफ्ट बिहाइंड इन दिस अपलिफ्टमेंट. योर वर्क इज नॉट डन until and unless you have uplifted the person living at the very margins of the society. Alright, so the correct answer is B. The good of the individual is contained in the good of all. जो ऑप्शन ए है, uplifting the oppressed and poor is the moral responsibility of an educated man. This relates to his idea of trusteeship. Now the idea of trusteeship was based on Gandhiji's religious beliefs and convictions. It did not have much to do with John Ruskin's book. Third option, the life of celibacy, तो ब्रह्मचर्य का concept that was shaped out of his personal guilt because of his past experiences, especially the one related to the death of his father. गांधी जी की जो autobiography है, My Experiments with Truth, here he has very candidly said that while his father was breathing his last, he and his wife were sharing some intimate moments. And this caused a lot of guilt and had a deep impact on Gandhiji's mind, which later shaped his ideas on celibacy or brahmacharya. Alright, so the correct answer is B. Next question. The Ilbert Bill controversy was related to the A. Imposition of certain restrictions to carry arms by Indians. B. Imposition of restrictions on newspapers and magazines published in the Indian languages. C. Removal of disqualifications imposed on Indian magistrates with regard to the trial of the Europeans. Or D. Removal of a duty on imported cotton cloth. The correct answer is C. So what was this Ilbert Bill? It was proposed by C.P. Ilbert, जिसके नाम पे ये बिल रखा गया. In 1883, उस समय गवर्नर जनरल था लॉर्ड रिपन. राइट, व्हाट डिड दिस बिल प्रपोज? उस समय तक अगर कोई इंडियन मैजिस्ट्रेट या इंडियन जज किसी यूरोपियन को इन्वॉल्विंग केस अगर सुन रहा है, ही कुड नॉट डू सो अलोन. ही वुड हैव टू बी असिस्टेड बाय अ यूरोपियन मैजिस्ट्रेट. बट द वाइस वर्सा वॉज नॉट ट्रू. अगर कोई यूरोपियन मैजिस्ट्रेट है, he could hear the cases of either Indians or Europeans without needing any assistance from an Indian magistrate. The Ilbert Bill tried to correct this mismatch. It tried to introduce equality between the Indian judges and the European judges. लेकिन इंडिया में जो ब्रिटिश रह रहे थे, they did not like this arrangement. And they started a movement to change the public perception against the bill both in India as well as in Britain. They were finally successful and the bill was watered down. The parity it sought to establish between Indian and European magistrates could not be achieved. Alright, so this was the Ilbert Bill controversy. The correct answer is C. Next question. Which one of the following pairs does not form part of the 6 systems of Indian philosophy? A. Mimamsa and Vedant. B. Nyaya and Vaisheshika. C. Lokayat and Kapalika. Or D. Sankhya and Yoga. The correct answer is C. Lokayat and Kapalika. So there are 6 systems of orthodox Indian philosophy which are related to the Vedantic philosophy. कौन सी हैं ये? सांख्य, योग, न्याय, वैशेषिका, मीमांसा and वेदांत. All of them subscribe to a certain worldview जो एक दूसरे से similar है. and it represents the traditional Indian philosophy. Lokayat and Kapalika are nothing like these other six. Lokayat क्या है? It was a hedonistic philosophy propounded by a person probably known as Charvak. इसने क्या बोला? That there is nothing like life after death. जो है वो यहीं पे है, ज़िंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा. So whatever you want to do, you have to do over here. And the only useful pursuit is to live a joyful life. अब इस जॉयफुल लाइफ के परस्यूट में अगर आप किसी से लोन लेकर के भी घी पी रहे हैं तो उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, इवन इफ़ यू आर अनएबल टू repay that loan. So this was the Lokayat philosophy. Kapalika was not a philosophy as such. It referred to a sect of Shaivite followers sometime during the 8th century AD. ये अपने आप को कपालिकास बोलते थे. Why? Because they used to carry around a human skull as a begging bowl. Human skull को बोला जाता है कपाल, and hence the word Kapalika. So Lokayat and Kapalika did not have anything to do with the traditional orthodox Indian philosophies. Alright, so the correct answer is C. Next question. Which of the following statements is or are applicable to Jain doctrine? Number 1. The surest way of annihilating karma is to practice penance. Number 2. Every object, even the smallest particle, has a soul. And number 3. Karma is the bane of the soul and must be ended. You have to tell that which of these are correctly applicable to Jain philosophy or Jain doctrine. The correct answer is D, all of them, 1, 2 as well as 3. तो एक एक करके देखते हैं इनको. सबसे पहले स्टेटमेंट नंबर 2 को देखते हैं, that every object, even the smallest particle, has a soul. So Jainism believes in the concept of a universal soul. The Jain belief is that soul exists not only in living but also in non-living things. So wherever there is matter, there is soul, and the universe is full of soul. और जहाँ जहाँ पे सोल होगा वहाँ वहाँ पे सौरो होगा. तो दुनिया दुख से भरी हुई है. ऑल राइट. अच्छा, अब लिविंग सोल की अगर बात करें तो महावीर ने इसको इमेजिन किया कि ये छोटे से कॉर्न के सीड की तरह है. ठीक है. एंड इन ऑर्डर टू लिबरेट द सोल, व्हाट यू हैव टू डू? यू हैव टू एंड कर्मा, बिकॉज कर्मा इज लाइक अ कॉस्मिक मैटर. आप ये इमेजिन करिए कि उस छोटे से कॉर्न के टुकड़े के अराउंड कुछ ऐसा मैटर इकट्ठा होता गया है विच इज़ नॉट लेटिंग इट एस्केप. सो दैट मैटर हैज़ टू बी destroyed. What is that matter? That is all of your past accumulated actions which are holding your soul entrapped in this cycle of birth and rebirth in a state of perpetual sorrow. क्योंकि जब तक सोल का एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं खत्म होगा, your existence is going to remain sorrowful. एंड इस कर्मा को ख़त्म कैसे किया जाए? तो ये पश्चाताप करके ख़त्म किया जाएगा. तो द ओनली वे ऑफ एनाइलेटिंग कर्मा इज़ टू प्रैक्टिस पेनेंस. राइट. तो देयरफॉर जैन फिलॉसफी में कुछ प्रैक्टिसेस होती हैं सच एज केशलोचन, दैट इज़ टू टेयर योर हेयर आउट. यू हैव टू स्टार्व योर सेल्फ, इन सम केसेस टू डेथ एज वेल. राइट. जिसको बोला जाता है सल्लेखना या फिर संथारा. सो सच काइंड्स ऑफ प्रैक्टिसेस were prescribed for annihilating or destroying the karma which has accumulated around your soul. So the correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Next question. With reference to the art and archaeological history of India, which among the following was made earliest? A. Lingaraj temple at Bhubaneswar. B. Rock cut elephant at Dhauli. C. Rock cut monuments at Mahabalipuram. और डी वारा इमेज एट उदयगिरी. तो बहुत सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. ऑल यू हैव टू नो इज विच मॉन्यूमेंट वॉज बिल्ट इन विच ईरा. तो द करेक्ट आंसर इज बी, द रॉक कट एलिफेंट एट धौली. आउट ऑफ द 4 monuments given here, that is the oldest. It was built during the reign of Ashok. Second is The Vara image at Udaygiri. This was made sometime during the 5th century during the Gupta period. The third oldest are the rock cut monuments at Mahabalipuram. They were constructed during the reign of the Pallavas. And the latest one is the Lingaraj temple at Bhubaneswar. This was made sometime during the 11th century under the rule of the Eastern Ganga dynasty of Odisha. Alright, तो the oldest one is the rock cut elephant at Dholi. Dholi में अशोका का एक मेजर रॉक इडिक्ट भी है and it is believed that Dholi was the place where the Kalinga war was fought. Okay. Next question. Consider the following statements. Bijak is a composition of the teachings of Saint Dadu Dayal. 2. Philosophy of Pushti Marg was propounded by Madhavacharya. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? तो ये दो स्टेटमेंट्स दिए गए हैं, बताने हैं इनमें से कौन से करेक्ट हैं. 1 ओनली, 2 ओनली, बोथ 1 and 2 और नीदर 1 nor 2. So neither of these statements is correct. Both of them are incorrect. The correct answer is D. Bijak क्या है? It is a composition of the couplets written by Saint Kabir, not by Saint दादू दयाल. ठीक है, सेंट दादू दयाल के जितने भी भजन्स थे या फिर अटरेंसेस थे, they were compiled into a work known as the बानी. ऑलराइट, तो बीजक किसका है? कबीर का. सेंट दादू दयाल के कॉम्पोजिशन के कंपाइलेशन को क्या बोला जाता है? बानी. अच्छा, सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट, पुष्टि मार्ग की फिलॉसफी माधवाचार्य ने नहीं दी थी, इट वॉज गिवन बाई वल्लभाचार्य. माधवाचार्य ने कौन सी फिलॉसफी दी थी? ही गेव द फिलॉसफी ऑफ द्वैत और डुअलिज्म. सो नीदर ऑफ दी स्टेटमेंट्स इज करेक्ट. क्लियर? क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. इबादत खाना एट फतेहपुर सीकरी वॉज ए the mosque for the use of royal family, B Akbar's private prayer chamber, C the hall in which Akbar held discussions with scholars of various religions, or D the room in which the nobles belonging to different religions gathered to discuss religious affairs. The correct answer is C. क्या है ये इबादत खाना? It was located in फतेहपुर सीकरी, the capital complex of अकबर. यहाँ पे अकबर अलग अलग रिलीजन्स के रिलीजियस स्कॉलर्स के साथ रिलीजियस डिस्कशंस होल्ड करता था. ही वॉज इंटरेस्टेड इन रिलीजन, लेकिन ही वॉज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड विद द कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग रिलीजियस एडवाइस दैट ही वॉज गेटिंग फ्रॉम हिज एडवाइजर्स. देयरफॉर ही सेड दैट ही नीड्स टू कंसल्ट विद स्कॉलर्स ऑफ ऑल रिलीजन्स. तो क्रिश्चियनिटी के फॉलोअर्स, हिंदुइज्म के फॉलोअर्स, जैनिज्म के फॉलोअर्स, सूफी फॉलोअर्स एंड ऑर्थोडॉक्स इस्लाम स्कॉलर्स वर ऑल इन्वाइटेड बाय हिम टू दिस इबादत खाना, एंड फॉर 6 long years इस इबादत खाना में रेगुलर रिलीजियस डिस्कोर्सेस चलते रहे. एट द एंड अकबर केम टू द कंक्लूजन दैट द बेसिक ट्रूथ इन ऑल द रिलीजन्स इज द सेम एंड दैट नो वन रिलीजन हैज़ मोनोपोली ओवर द ट्रूथ, एंड दिस लेड हिम to proclaim his infallibility decree known as the Mazharnama, through which he declared himself as the caliph and the ultimate interpreter of the Quran and law. Alright, तो करेक्ट आंसर क्या है इबादत खाना का? सी. अच्छा, कौन कौन से स्कॉलर्स आए थे इसके साथ डिस्कशंस करने के लिए? फ्रॉम क्रिश्चियंस टू पोर्चुगीज जेसुइट मंक्स हैड बीन इन्वाइटेड फ्रॉम गोवा. इनका नाम था मॉन्जराट एंड एक्वावीवा. 2 Hindu scholars known as Purushottam and Devi also attended these Ibadat Khana discussions. Sheikh Abdullah Sultanpuri and Sheikh Abdul Lavi were the prominent Orthodox Islamic scholars. Sufism या फिर liberal Islamic scholars की अगर हम बात करें तो अकबर के कोर्ट में there were 2 poet brothers who were his official poets, Abul Fazl and Faizi. They represented the liberal tradition of Islam. And Akbar also invited the prominent Jain scholar Hira Vijay Suri to his Ibadat Khana discussions. Clear? So these were the prominent religious scholars of different religions who were invited to the Ibadat Khana. And now we come to the final question. In medieval India, the designations Mahattara and Pattalika were used for A. Military officers, B. Village headmen, C. Specialists in Vedic rituals, or D. Chiefs of craft guilds. So the correct answer is B. Village headmen. Medieval India में ये टाइटल्स विलेज हेडमैन के लिए यूज किए जाते थे. Pattalika was believed to be the king's representative in the village. Alright? And later he was known as Patel during the Maratha period. Mahattra was also a village headman, but unlike Pattalika, he was not a representative of the king. He was a non official and a representative of the people. Alright? So these were the two designations used for village headman in medieval India. That is it for today. I hope you learned something of value, and I'll see you again tomorrow with a new set of questions. Till then, good luck and Jai Hind.